Life is a battle, not against others, but against yourself, against the forces that pull you toward mediocrity, complacency, and self-doubt. And in this battle, there are 3 rules to live by. Be bold, be brave, and be yourself. These are not mere platitudes, but principles that demand commitment, effort, and courage. To embody them is to step onto the path of responsibility, a path that transforms chaos into order and potential into reality. Being bold means stepping forward when everything inside you says to hold back. It's not about arrogance or recklessness, but the willingness to risk failure in the pursuit of something meaningful. Boldness is the spark of creation. It's what allows you to speak when you're afraid your voice will crack, to try when the odds are stacked against you, and to embrace discomfort in the name of growth. Remember, the alternative to boldness isn't safety, it's stagnation. To be brave is to confront fear, not to eliminate it. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. Fear is a signal, a guide, even a teacher, but it must never be the master of your actions. You must learn to lean into it. What frightens you most is often where your greatest growth lies. Take responsibility for your fears, confront them, and watch as they shrink in the face of your resolve. And then there is the final rule: be you. But this is not the easy, feel-good mantra you might think it is. To truly be yourself is one of the hardest things you'll ever do. It requires an unflinching honesty about who you are, where you've fallen short, and where you must improve. It demands that you stand apart from the crowd when necessary, even when it costs you popularity, approval, or comfort. And it rests with you. Authenticity is a moral obligation, because only when you are true to yourself can you make a genuine contribution to the world. The process of becoming bold, brave, and authentic is not comfortable. It's messy, painful, and humbling. But it is also redemptive. The act of striving to be more than you were yesterday reshapes not just you, but the world around you. You inspire others to do the same. You break cycles of fear, apathy, and dishonesty. You move from a state of mere existence to a state of purpose. The world doesn't need more people who conform. It needs individuals who are willing to embrace their uniqueness and take responsibility for their lives. Because when you are bold, when you are brave, and when you are unapologetically yourself, you don't just live, you lead. And that is how you make a difference. Stepping forward despite uncertainty is a radical act of defiance against the natural inclination to retreat into comfort and safety. It is the first step in any meaningful journey, and it requires a mindset that embraces risk as a necessary component of growth. To be bold is not to be fearless, nor is it to act without caution or foresight. Instead, boldness is the willingness to move forward, even when the outcome is unclear and the stakes feel high. It is an active choice to prioritize progress over perfection, action over hesitation, and purpose over convenience. Uncertainty is an inevitable part of life. No matter how much you prepare, strategize, or analyze, you will never have absolute clarity about what lies ahead. This is not a flaw in the system, it is the very nature of existence. The world is too complex, too dynamic, and too unpredictable for certainty to be a realistic expectation. But therein lies the beauty of boldness. It thrives in the unknown. Expectation springs up every single day, perhaps with regard to expectations. But therein lies the beauty of boldness. It thrives in the unknown. It grows in the space where plans meet reality and where your intentions collide with the unexpected. Boldness is not about removing uncertainty, but about learning to navigate it with confidence and resilience. When you choose to act boldly, you are acknowledging that failure is a possibility, but not a defining one. Failure in this context becomes a teacher rather than a verdict. It is through trial and error that you refine your skills, sharpen your instincts, and clarify your goals. Without boldness, you would never risk failure, and without failure, you would never truly learn. This is why bold action is so essential. It propels you into the arena of life, where the real lessons are taught and the real victories are won. Boldness also requires you to confront the internal voices that hold you back. These voices, often born from fear or self-doubt, whisper insidious messages like, "You're not ready, you might embarrass yourself," or "What if it doesn't work?" But if you allow these thoughts to dictate your actions, you end up paralyzed, stuck in a loop of overthinking and procrastination. Boldness is the act of silencing those voices, or at least refusing to let them control you. It's saying to yourself, "I might not have all the answers, but I'm willing to try anyway." This mindset shift is critical because waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions is a trap. Perfection is an illusion that leads to inertia. If you wait until you feel fully prepared, you will wait forever. Boldness understands this and acts regardless. It understands that the perfect moment is not something you find, but something you create. Each step you take, no matter how uncertain, brings you closer to clarity and confidence. Action breeds momentum, and momentum is what transforms uncertainty into opportunity. Boldness is also deeply connected to self-belief. To take risks, you must trust in your ability to handle the consequences, both good and bad. This trust doesn't come from arrogance, but from a quiet confidence built through experience and reflection. The more you act boldly, the more you realize that you are capable of adapting, learning, and growing. You begin to see yourself not as a static being defined by past failures or successes, but as a dynamic individual capable of navigating life's complexities. When you act boldly, you send a powerful message, not just to the world, but to yourself. You reinforce the idea that you are not a passive participant in your own life. You are the one steering the ship, charting the course, and choosing the destination. This sense of agency is profoundly liberating. It allows you to approach challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities to prove your resilience and resourcefulness. Ultimately, boldness is a declaration of intent. It is the refusal to let fear or uncertainty dictate the trajectory of your life. It is the recognition that meaningful progress requires risk and that the alternative, stagnation, is far more dangerous. By stepping forward despite uncertainty, you step into your potential. You acknowledge that while the path may not be clear, it is worth walking nonetheless. Boldness, then, is not just an action. It is a way of being. It is the decision made again and again to move forward into the unknown and to trust that you have what it takes to make it through. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act in spite of it. Fear is a natural and inevitable part of life. It arises when we face uncertainty, risk, or danger, and it often serves a protective purpose. However, the problem arises when fear becomes the dominant force, dictating our choices and limiting our potential. To be brave is to confront that fear head-on, to recognize its presence without allowing it to paralyze you. Courage is a deliberate choice, a conscious decision to move forward despite the fear, knowing that what lies on the other side is worth the risk. Fear is not inherently bad. It is an indicator of what matters. You fear failure because you care about success. You fear rejection because connection and belonging are important to you. You fear the unknown because it challenges the comfort and control you've worked to establish. Fear shines a spotlight on the areas of your life where growth is possible. But it also creates resistance. It whispers that the cost of failure is too high, that the pain of rejection is unbearable, and that the uncertainty ahead is too risky to navigate. Bravery is not the eradication of these whispers, but the refusal to let them dictate your actions. To act courageously, you must first understand fear as a temporary state rather than an absolute truth. Fear often magnifies potential threats and minimizes your ability to handle them. It tells you stories of worst-case scenarios that rarely materialize. Bravery involves challenging these narratives. It requires asking yourself, is this fear rational? Is it helping me, or is it holding me back? And even if the fear is valid, what might I gain by acting despite it? By reframing fear as a signal to be questioned, rather than a command to be obeyed, you begin to reclaim control. The essence of bravery lies in the willingness to step into discomfort. Every act of courage is, at its core, a confrontation with the unknown. This might mean speaking up when it's easier to stay silent, taking responsibility when it's easier to deflect blame, or pursuing a dream that carries the risk of failure. These moments are uncomfortable because they force you to stretch beyond your current limits. Yet it is precisely in these moments that growth occurs. Courage transforms discomfort from a barrier into a bridge, connecting where you are to where you want to be. One of the most misunderstood aspects of courage is that it is not a one-time act but a habit. Bravery is built incrementally through small decisions that gradually expand your comfort zone. Each time you face a fear, no matter how minor, you strengthen your capacity for courage. Over time, these small acts compound, equipping you to handle larger challenges with greater resilience. It is through this process that bravery becomes a core part of who you are, rather than something you summon in moments of crisis. Bravery also requires vulnerability. To act courageously is to expose yourself to risk, not just physical or financial, but emotional as well. It means admitting that you don't have all the answers, acknowledging your imperfections, and risking failure or rejection. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the ultimate act of strength. It is the willingness to be seen, to take chances, and to embrace the possibility of loss for the sake of something greater. In this way, courage is deeply tied to authenticity. It is about showing up as your true self, even when doing so feels risky. What makes courage so transformative is its ripple effect. When you act bravely, you not only change your own life, but also inspire others to do the same. Courage is contagious. When people see you confront your fears, they are reminded of their own capacity for bravery. This creates a positive feedback loop where one act of courage sparks another, fostering a culture of boldness and resilience. In this way, bravery is not just a personal virtue, but a gift you give to the people around you. Finally, bravery is not about guaranteed success. Acting courageously does not mean you will always win or that the path will be easy. In fact, you might fail and you might face setbacks, but bravery is about more than the outcome. It is about the act itself. Each time you confront fear, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of handling life's challenges. This belief becomes a foundation for self-consciousness and resilience, enabling you to face even greater fears in the future. To be brave, then, is to embrace fear as a companion rather than an adversary. It is to acknowledge that fear will always be present, but that it does not have to control you. Courage is the decision to act despite the fear, to step forward into uncertainty with faith in your ability to adapt and grow. It is the recognition that fear is not a wall but a doorway, and that stepping through it is the only way to discover what lies beyond. To truly be yourself is one of the most challenging and transformative pursuits you can undertake. Authenticity is not a surface-level trait or an easy path to self-expression. It is a deep, ongoing commitment to living in alignment with your values, beliefs, and unique identity, even when doing so is uncomfortable or inconvenient. It requires a willingness to confront the truth about who you are, to embrace your imperfections, and to take responsibility for your growth. Authenticity is not just about being honest with the world. It is about being honest with yourself. Living authentically begins with self-awareness. You cannot be yourself if you do not know yourself. This requires a willingness to look inward, to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and to ask the difficult questions. What do I truly value? What motivates me? Where have I fallen short, and where do I need to improve? This process is not always pleasant, as it often uncovers aspects of yourself that you may have ignored, denied, or suppressed. Yet it is only by confronting these truths that you can begin to understand and accept who you are at your core. Authenticity also demands courage, as it often means standing apart from the crowd. The pressure to conform is immense, whether it comes from societal norms, cultural expectations, or the fear of judgment. To be yourself in a world that constantly tries to shape you into something else is an act of defiance. It requires you to prioritize your values and principles over external approval. This does not mean rejecting others or dismissing their perspectives. Rather, it means holding firm to your own convictions, even when they are unpopular or misunderstood. And the fourth and final point, we humans can transform ourselves if we would organically transform others. Being yourself is not a license for complacency or self-indulgence. It does not mean clinging to habits, beliefs, or behaviors that are harmful or limiting simply because they feel familiar. Authenticity involves growth and evolution. It is about striving to become the best version of yourself, not as defined by others, but as defined by your own potential. This means taking responsibility for your flaws, not as defined by your own potential. This means taking responsibility for your flaws, making amends where necessary, and committing to continuous self-improvement. Authenticity is not static. It is dynamic, a journey rather than a destination. Another essential aspect of authenticity is vulnerability. To be truly yourself, you must be willing to be seen as you are, with all your strengths and weaknesses, successes and failures. This requires letting go of the facade that you have it all together, or that you are invulnerable to pain and struggle. Vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is a testament to your strength. It shows that you value truth over appearances and that you are willing to risk rejection or criticism in order to live authentically. Authenticity also brings with it a sense of freedom. When you are true to yourself, you no longer feel the need to constantly seek external validation or to live up to others' expectations. This frees you from the exhausting cycle of performance and pretension. Instead of living a life dictated by what others think you should be, you begin to live a life aligned with what you know to be true for you. This sense of alignment fosters inner peace, as you are no longer at war with yourself. Living authentically, however, is not without its challenges. It often means making difficult choices, such as setting boundaries, walking away from toxic relationships, or pursuing paths that others may not understand or support. It may lead to moments of isolation or discomfort as you navigate the tension between your own truth and the expectations of others. But these challenges are outweighed by the rewards of authenticity. A life that feels meaningful, relationships that are genuine, and a sense of integrity that cannot be shaken. Finally, authenticity is not just about self-preservation, but also about contribution. When you are true to yourself, you are better equipped to make a genuine impact on the world. You bring your unique strengths, perspectives, and talents to the table, offering something that no one else can. Authenticity is not about standing apart for its own sake. It is about using your individuality to connect with others in a meaningful way. By being yourself, you give others permission to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and courage, the other attributes that support an organized life, courage and leadership. To be yourself is a responsibility as much as it is a right. It is a commitment to truth, growth, and connection, even when the path is difficult. It requires you to face your fears, confront your flaws, and embrace your uniqueness. But in doing so, you unlock a sense of fulfillment and purpose that cannot be found in imitation or conformity. Authenticity is not easy, but it is worth it, because there is no greater gift you can give to yourself and the world than the truth of who you are. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most transformative decisions you can make. It is a declaration that regardless of your circumstances, you are the one who will shape your future. Responsibility is not just a burden. It is the foundation of personal freedom, growth, and meaning. It allows you to step out of the role of a victim and into the role of an active participant in your own life. This shift in perspective changes everything, empowering you to turn challenges into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. Responsibility begins with a recognition that while you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. Life is unpredictable and often unfair. You will encounter circumstances beyond your control, whether it's the actions of others, unexpected events, or the natural difficulties of existence. However, blaming these external factors for your situation will only keep you stuck. Responsibility is the refusal to focus on what you cannot change and instead commit to taking action where you can. It is the understanding that your choices, no matter how small, have the power to shape your reality. Taking responsibility means acknowledging your role in your own life, even when it's uncomfortable. This is not about self-blame or guilt, but about owning your actions, decisions, and their consequences. It requires a willingness to look honestly at where you might be falling short, where you've made mistakes, and where you can do better. This kind of self-reflection is not easy. It often reveals truths you would rather avoid, but it is through this process that growth becomes possible. By taking ownership of your flaws and failures, you empower yourself to change and improve. Responsibility is also closely tied to meaning. A life without responsibility is a life adrift, lacking direction and purpose. When you take on responsibility, you give your life structure and focus, whether it's caring for your family, pursuing a career, or contributing to your community. Responsibility ties you to something greater than yourself. It provides a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment that cannot be found in a life of avoidance or indulgence. Responsibility is what transforms mere existence into a life of purpose. This does not mean that responsibility is easy or comfortable. On the contrary, it often requires sacrifice, effort, and perseverance. It may mean taking on challenges you would rather avoid, admitting when you're wrong, or facing situations that scare you. But it is precisely in these moments of difficulty that you grow. Responsibility forces you to step outside your comfort zone, to confront your weaknesses, and to develop the skills and character needed to overcome adversity. As the more responsibility you take on, the stronger and more capable you become. One of the most powerful aspects of responsibility is that it gives you control over your own narrative. When you take responsibility, you stop being defined by what happens to you and instead become defined by how you respond. You move from being reactive to being proactive. This shift allows you to reclaim your agency and take charge of your life, even in the face of challenges or setbacks. You begin to see yourself as someone who can influence outcomes rather than someone at the mercy of circumstances. Learning to question why things happen the way they do, rather than just finding the reason for their absence. Taking responsibility also has a ripple effect on the people around you. When you own your actions and demonstrate accountability, you set an example for others to do the same. Responsibility inspires trust, respect, and cooperation. It strengthens relationships, fosters teamwork, and creates a culture of mutual support. By taking responsibility for your own life, you contribute to the well-being of others, demonstrating that responsibility is not just a personal virtue, but a communal one. It is important to note that taking responsibility does not mean taking on everything or blaming yourself for things beyond your control. There is a balance to be struck. Responsibility is about focusing on what you can influence and letting go of what you cannot. It is about recognizing the difference between being accountable for your actions and being burdened by things that are not yours to carry. This balance ensures that responsibility empowers you rather than overwhelm you. Ultimately, responsibility is a choice to step up, take ownership, and make the most of the life you have. It is not about seeking perfection or avoiding failure, but about committing to the process of growth and improvement. Responsibility transforms your perspective, your actions, and your relationships. It allows you to turn challenges into opportunities, failures into lessons, and life itself into a meaningful journey. Taking responsibility is not easy, but it is one of the most empowering and liberating choices you can make. Through responsibility, you become the author of your own life, capable of shaping your future and leaving a positive impact on the world around you. Building resilience is one of the most important skills you can develop in life. Resilience is not simply about enduring hardship. It is about adapting, recovering, and growing stronger in the face of adversity. Life is unpredictable and often challenging, and setbacks are inevitable. However, resilience allows you to confront these difficulties with a mindset that seeks solutions rather than succumbing to despair. It transforms adversity from an obstacle into an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Resilience begins with mindset. How you perceive challenges directly influences how you respond to them. If you view setbacks as insurmountable, you're likely to feel defeated and give up. However, if you see them as opportunities to learn and improve, you open the door to personal growth. This shift in perspective doesn't eliminate hardship, but it equips you with the psychological tools to handle it effectively. A resilient mindset acknowledges the difficulty of the situation while focusing on what can be done to move forward. One of the core components of resilience is emotional regulation. Difficult circumstances often bring intense emotions, such as fear, anger, or sadness. While these feelings are natural, they can become overwhelming if left unchecked. Resilience involves learning to manage these emotions constructively, allowing you to think clearly and make better decisions. This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. Rather, it means acknowledging your emotions, understanding their source, and choosing how to respond. Practices such as mindfulness, journaling, or seeking support from others can help you process emotions in a healthy way. Resilience also requires a sense of purpose. When you have a clear understanding of your values and goals, you are more likely to persevere in the face of challenges. Purpose acts as a guiding light, reminding you why your efforts matter and motivating you to keep going even when the road gets tough. Whether your purpose is rooted in personal growth, supporting your loved ones, or contributing to a larger cause, it provides the strength and clarity needed to navigate adversity. Another key aspect of resilience is adaptability. Life rarely unfolds as planned, and the ability to adjust your approach is crucial for overcoming obstacles. Resilient individuals understand that rigidity can be detrimental. They are willing to let go of what no longer serves them and embrace new strategies or perspectives. This flexibility allows them to turn setbacks into stepping stones and to find opportunities in situations where others might see only failure. Adaptability is not about giving up on your goals, but about finding new ways to achieve them. Resilience is also deeply connected to support systems. No one navigates life alone, and having a network of people you can rely on is invaluable during tough times. Friends, family, mentors, and communities provide emotional support, practical advice, and encouragement. Resilience is not about isolating yourself or trying to handle everything on your own. It's about recognizing the strength that comes from connection. Asking for help when needed is not a sign of weakness. It's a demonstration of resourcefulness and courage. A significant part of resilience is self-compassion. During challenging times, it's easy to be overly critical of yourself, blaming yourself for mistakes or perceived shortcomings. However, resilience involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding, acknowledging that everyone makes mistakes and that failure is a natural part of growth allows you to bounce back more effectively. Self-compassion fosters a healthier relationship with yourself, enabling you to face difficulties with greater confidence and inner strength. Building resilience also involves taking care of your physical and mental well-being. Stress and adversity take a toll on your body and mind, and resilience requires maintaining your capacity to cope. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, adequate sleep, and practices like meditation or deep breathing can help you manage stress and stay grounded. When you prioritize your well-being, you equip yourself with the energy and focus needed to face challenges head-on. Finally, resilience is not about eliminating hardship, but about becoming stronger because of it. Every challenge you overcome adds to your reservoir of strength and experience. Over time, you begin to trust in your ability to handle adversity, which builds confidence and reduces fear of future setbacks. This doesn't mean that hardship becomes easy, but it does mean that you become better equipped to face it. Resilience is a skill that grows with practice, and every difficulty you face becomes an opportunity to refine and strengthen it. In the end, resilience is about refusing to be defined by adversity. It is the determination to rise after every fall, to find meaning in struggle, and to keep moving forward no matter how difficult the journey. Resilience is not something you are born with, it is something you build, one challenge at a time. Through resilience, you not only survive life's hardships, but also emerge from them stronger, wiser, and more capable of living a meaningful and fulfilling life. Standing firm in your values and beliefs is an act of integrity and courage that defines who you are and how you navigate the world. In a world full of external pressures, opposing opinions, and ever-shifting societal expectations, It is tempting to compromise your principles for convenience, acceptance, or ease. However, living with integrity requires you to remain rooted in your core beliefs, even when doing so comes at a cost. It means staying true to yourself, not for the sake of stubbornness, but as a commitment to authenticity and purpose. To stand firm in your values, you must first be clear about what those values are. This clarity comes from deep self-reflection and a willingness to examine your principles critically. What do you truly believe in? What matters most to you? What are the non-negotiables in your life, the things you are unwilling to compromise no matter the circumstance? Identifying these values is not a passive process. It requires introspection, honesty, and sometimes uncomfortable questioning. You must peel back the layers of inherited beliefs, societal conditioning, and external influences to uncover the principles that resonate most deeply with you. Once you've identified your values, the challenge becomes living by them consistently. This is where true integrity is tested. It's easy to uphold your values when the stakes are low or when they align with popular opinion. The real test comes in moments of adversity. When you are asked to compromise for personal gain, when you face criticism or rejection for your beliefs, or when standing firm means choosing the harder path, and even when facing the truth, whether faithful to your initial vision. When you have high standards, these moments reveal the strength of your convictions and your willingness to prioritize long-term meaning over short-term comfort. Standing firm in your values requires resilience in the face of external pressure. People may challenge or question your principles, especially if they conflict with prevailing norms or expectations. This can be particularly difficult if the criticism comes from people you respect or care about. Yet, staying true to your values does not mean dismissing others' perspectives outright. It means listening with an open mind while maintaining your integrity. It is about finding the balance between humility and conviction, being willing to learn and grow without compromising your core beliefs. One of the most profound challenges in standing firm is navigating the fear of rejection or judgment. Humans are social beings, wired to seek connection and belonging. The fear of being ostracized or misunderstood can tempt you to dilute your principles or conform to the expectations of others. However, compromising your values for the sake of acceptance often leads to inner conflict and dissatisfaction. True belonging comes not from fitting in, but from being accepted for who you genuinely are. Standing firm in your values attracts the right people, those who respect and align with your principles, while filtering out relationships that are not built on authenticity. Another aspect of standing firm in your values is the courage to take action when those values are threatened. It's not enough to believe in something passively. You must be willing to defend and advocate for it. This might mean speaking up against injustice, making difficult decisions that align with your principles, or setting boundaries to protect what you stand for. Action solidifies belief. Each time you act in alignment with your values, you reinforce your integrity and strengthen your sense of self. Standing firm does not mean being inflexible or dogmatic. True conviction is not rigid. It is thoughtful, adaptive, and rooted in a willingness to evolve. Life is complex, and your understanding of your values may deepen or change over time. The key is to remain grounded in your principles while staying open to growth. This balance allows you to live with integrity without becoming stuck in outdated or unexamined beliefs. Living according to your values also has a ripple effect on those around you. When you act with integrity, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes a model for those who may be struggling to stand firm in their own beliefs. In this way, standing firm is not just an individual act, but a contribution to a culture of authenticity and mutual respect. It fosters trust, strengthens relationships, and creates a foundation for meaningful connections. Ultimately, standing firm in your values is a commitment to living authentically and purposefully. It is an ongoing process that requires courage, self-awareness, and resilience. It is not about perfection, but about striving to align your actions with your principles, even in the face of difficulty. By standing firm, you build a life of integrity, a life that is true to who you are and what you believe in. This is not always the easiest path, but it is the one that leads to the deepest sense of fulfillment and self-respect. Embracing failure as a teacher is one of the most empowering shifts in mindset you can make. Failure is often viewed as something to avoid, a marker of inadequacy or a source of shame. Yet failure is an inevitable part of life, and it carries within it the seeds of growth, learning, and eventual success. When you learn to see failure as a teacher, you no longer fear it. Instead, you welcome it as an essential step on the path to achieving your goals and becoming your best self. Failure teaches you about your limitations, but more importantly, it shows you where you need to grow. Every setback, mistake, or misstep offers valuable insights into what doesn't work and where your efforts or understanding fell short. These lessons are not available in success alone. When things go well, it's easy to overlook the finer details of why they went well. Failure, on the other hand, forces you to analyze and reflect. It compels you to ask questions. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? What did this experience reveal about my strengths and weaknesses? In this way, failure becomes a mirror, reflecting the areas where you can improve. One of the most significant lessons failure teaches is resilience. Failing is not pleasant. It can be painful, discouraging, and even humiliating. But every time you pick yourself up after a fall, you build your capacity to persevere. Resilience is not just about enduring hardship. It's about bouncing back stronger and more determined. Failure provides the opportunity to practice resilience, to develop the mental toughness required to keep going despite obstacles. Over time, this resilience becomes a core part of who you are, enabling you to face future challenges with confidence. Failure also fosters creativity and innovation. When your initial approach doesn't work, you are forced to think outside the box and explore alternative solutions. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history have come from failures. Scientists, inventors, and entrepreneurs often credit their mistakes with leading them to discoveries they might never have made otherwise. Failure pushes you out of your comfort zone, encouraging you to experiment, take risks, and embrace new perspectives. It reminds you that progress is rarely linear and that creativity often emerges from the chaos of trial and error. Another important lesson failure imparts is humility. Success can sometimes inflate your ego, leading you to overestimate your abilities or underestimate the challenges ahead. Failure, however, has a way of grounding you. It reminds you that you are human, that you have limitations, and that you still have much to learn. This humility is not a weakness. It is a strength. It opens the door to self-awareness, collaboration, and growth. And it opens the door to self-awareness, collaboration, and growth. When you approach life with humility, you become more receptive to feedback, more willing to seek help, and more motivated to improve. Failure also teaches you to detach your self-worth from your outcomes. Many people equate their successes and failures with their value as individuals. When they fail, they feel like failures. This mindset is not only harmful, but also counterproductive. Failure is an event, not a definition of who you are. Learning to separate your identity from your results is liberating. It allows you to take risks without the paralyzing fear of what failure might say about you. It also helps you develop self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness and understanding rather than harsh criticism when things don't go as planned. Moreover, failure teaches you patience and the importance of persistence. Achieving anything worthwhile takes time, effort, and countless attempts. Failure reminds you that success is not immediate and that setbacks are part of the journey. It instills in you a sense of endurance, a willingness to keep trying, even when progress feels slow. This patience is not passive, it is active and purposeful, fueled by the belief that each failure brings you closer to your goal. Failure also has a way of clarifying your priorities. When you experience a setback, you are forced to evaluate whether your goal is truly worth pursuing. This reflection can reignite your passion and determination, or it may lead you to adjust your course. Either way, failure acts as a filter, helping you focus on what truly matters to you. It weeds out superficial pursuits and aligns you with your deeper values and aspirations. Finally, embracing failure as a teacher requires courage. It takes courage to try, knowing you might fail. It takes courage to face the discomfort and vulnerability that failure brings. But with that courage comes growth. And each time you confront failure head-on, you build not only your skills and knowledge, but also your character. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and more confident in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. Failure is not the end of the road. It is a stepping stone on the path to success. It is a natural and necessary part of the process, a powerful teacher that offers lessons no textbook or mentor can provide. By embracing failure with an open mind and a willingness to learn, you transform it from a source of fear into a catalyst for growth. Through failure, you become stronger, wiser, and more equipped to achieve your goals and live a life of purpose and fulfillment. Being compassionate toward others is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate meaningful connections and contribute positively to the world. Compassion involves more than just feeling sympathy for someone else's struggles. It requires understanding their pain, offering kindness without judgment, and taking action to alleviate their suffering when possible. In terms of business, however, compassion is rarely enough, and many business owners don't. In a world that often prioritizes individual success, status, or competition, compassion stands as a reminder of the importance of human connection and empathy. Compassion starts with recognizing the shared humanity in everyone. We all face challenges, suffer losses, experience pain, and long for love and acceptance. It's easy to forget this when we're caught up in our own lives or when others' struggles seem distant or unfamiliar. However, the ability to relate to another person's suffering, even if we haven't experienced the exact same thing, is a fundamental aspect of compassion. It's not about comparing pain, but acknowledging that in one way or another, everyone goes through tough times. This awareness allows you to approach others with empathy rather than judgment, to listen with an open heart, and to respond with understanding rather than defensiveness or indifference. Compassion is not about fixing others or solving their problems. Often when we see someone in distress, we feel the urge to offer solutions or advice, thinking that this will help them feel better. While it's important to offer guidance when appropriate, sometimes what people need most is simply someone who listens, someone who validates their feelings, and someone who offers comfort. Compassion means sitting with another person in their pain without rushing to make it go away. It involves being present, offering a safe space for vulnerability, and letting the person know that their emotions are valid and that they are not alone. When you practice compassion, it encourages a deeper sense of trust and connection. People are more likely to open up, share their experiences, and seek support when they feel safe and understood. Compassion fosters an environment where individuals can be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or rejection. This trust is the foundation for building strong, supportive relationships, whether with family, friends, coworkers, or even strangers. In a compassionate environment, people are more willing to offer help in return, creating a cycle of kindness and mutual support. However, compassion is not just beneficial for others, it also has a profound impact on the person offering it. When you show compassion, it strengthens your sense of purpose and meaning. There's a deep satisfaction that comes from knowing that you've made a positive difference in someone else's life, even if that difference is small. Acts of kindness, whether they're offering a listening ear or helping someone with a practical task, create a sense of fulfillment that can't be found in material possessions or personal achievements. Compassion connects you to something greater than yourself, reminding you of the importance of human connection and the shared experience of living. In addition, practicing compassion has psychological and physical health benefits. Research has shown that engaging in compassionate acts can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and increase feelings of happiness. Compassion releases oxytocin, a hormone that promotes bonding and trust, which can lead to a sense of well-being and emotional satisfaction. Moreover, acts of kindness trigger the release of dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, creating a sense of reward and satisfaction. When you show compassion, it not only helps others, but also improves your own emotional and physical health. Compassion also requires a balance of boundaries. While it's essential to be there for others, it's equally important to maintain healthy boundaries to prevent burnout or resentment. Compassion does not mean sacrificing your own well-being for the sake of others. It means offering kindness and support while also recognizing your limits and taking care of yourself. Establishing boundaries ensures that your compassion remains sustainable and that you can continue to offer support without depleting your own emotional resources. Compassionate individuals know when to offer help and when to step back, respecting their own needs while still being there for others. True compassion is unconditional, doesn't require that others meet certain expectations or behave in a way we deem worthy of help. It's easy to show kindness to those who are kind to us, or those who meet our criteria for deserving help. But true compassion transcends these limitations. It means offering kindness and understanding even to those who may have hurt us, or those we don't understand. It involves recognizing that everyone, regardless of their past actions or current situation, deserves dignity and respect. By embracing this unconditional approach, compassion becomes a transformative force in your life and the lives of others. Ultimately, compassion is a choice. It's a conscious decision to engage with the world from a place of empathy and understanding, rather than indifference or judgment. This choice has a ripple effect, influencing not only the individuals you interact with, but also the wider community. In a world where division and conflict often dominate, compassion has the power to heal, unite, and inspire positive change. It reminds us that, at our core, we are all connected, and that showing kindness to others is a reflection of the kindness we owe to ourselves. Compassion is a practice that grows stronger with time. The more you engage in acts of kindness, empathy, and understanding, the more natural they become. It is a habit that not only improves the lives of others, but also enriches your own. By choosing compassion, you contribute to creating a world that values connection, understanding, and mutual respect. In conclusion, the journey of embracing boldness, bravery, and authenticity is not an easy one, but it is undoubtedly the most rewarding. It requires a deep commitment to understanding yourself, standing firm in your values, and having the courage to face challenges head-on, without the fear of failure. Along the way, you will encounter setbacks, but it is how you respond to those setbacks that will define your growth and success. In hopes that ultimately the rest of your life will be filled with joy and happiness, remember, failure is not something to be feared, but rather it is a valuable teacher that holds the potential for greater wisdom and resilience. As you pursue this path, be compassionate, not just to others, but to yourself. Recognize the shared humanity in everyone, offer kindness without judgment, and take action to ease the suffering of those around you. Through compassion, you foster deeper connections, build stronger relationships, and create a ripple effect that encourages positivity in your community. Ultimately, the journey of being bold, brave, and true to yourself is a continuous process of growth. Embrace it wholeheartedly, learn from every experience, and never shy away from the opportunities to push past your comfort zone. In doing so, you will not only transform your own life, but also inspire those around you to do the same. This is the path to living a life of meaning, fulfillment, and impact, one that is fully aligned with who you are and the values you hold dear.